Aloha. Good morning, I guess. Wow, this is too early in the morning for me. Forget it. But that's besides the point. Anyhow, this is Andrew Aloha live out of Tucson, Arizona, with Spiritual Wellness Productions on Webinar Jam. Today we're doing the first ever live live over the internet GPS Paranormal Golden Age Hangout webinar series that we're doing throughout the whole week up until Sunday. We have 4 presenters presenting every week, and if you haven't got a chance to go and check it out or join, oh, what the heck is going on? No, you can't do that. Okay, Sam, I apologize. Let me call you later. Thanks. So anyhow, all this stuff going on, but anyhow, we're doing this all week long. We have 4 presenters every day, and if you haven't taken the time to sign up for the webinar sessions, you can do so at spiritualwellnessproductions.com. Right there on the front page, there's a button that you can sign up at. So now today we're here with Shannon Leischner. Is that correct? Sure. Thanks for being here. I always try to get. I don't know, for some reason I have it hard. Well, what's your heritage? What's your background? Anyhow, I got to know that.
I have. They call me a mutt, but I have all kinds of different things inside of me. But essentially, I was born here, and I have family members from different parts of the world.
So you're part German and Swedish? Scandinavian?
No, German, and then Irish. So they just call me a mutt.
Oh, Irish. Okay, nice then. Okay, we'll call you Shannon. How's that? Anyhow, Shannon here is to talk about from dark to light. In times of huge energetic changes and many more people awakening, it is time to learn how to cope with all these changes. Join Shannon Leischner in an informative session on how to thrive during all these energetic shifts. She will discuss clearing of energy, manifestation, protection, and self-healing, among many of other things. A natural activator, Shannon will also reconnect you with your light source, activate your gifts, and help you clear blocks preventing you from being the best that you can be. She looks forward to seeing you all of you there, and wake up and smell the coffee. That's all I can say. Aloha. So yeah, go ahead. I gotta clear my throat right now. My sinus is really just going wrong. But first of all, if you can just introduce us and let us know who you are, where you're coming from, and then how you got to where you're at now.
Okay. I am a Theta healer. I am also a Theta healer instructor. I do angelic communication, energy clearing. I run the gambit. I do a whole lot of things. I was actually born this way. Well, I developed some of it, but I was born able to see and hear spirits. I lived in a place that was full of spirits and literally went through something similar to Amityville Horror, but you know, that was all a learning. And now, you know, I am a professional psychic medium. I have been voted number 10 in the world and 7 in the U.S. for best and most trusted. I have been noticing that there has been a lot. There's been a lot of need for this kind of information. A lot of my clients will say, you know, I'm going through these changes. I woke up one morning and I want to know how to get through it. And so that's why I decided to do this class.
Nice, nice. And so, I guess, well, now, where did you say you grew up at?
I grew up in California, Southern California. We moved around a lot, but my main city that I lived in was Wilmington, California.
Wilmington, yeah, I've been around that area. And so, like, have you been a psychic all your life? Have you been? Did you see ghosts? Were you taken into ships?
Well, yes. been a psychic all my life. I haven't worked professionally all my life at it, but yes, I have. I've given readings, and I used to my and ask me what's going to happen, or do I see anything, and I used to share it a lot, and then as I got older I stopped sharing because it wasn't cool anymore, and people started to look at me like I was weird. So I wanted to change that opinion of me, and I wanted to be the cool kid. So, especially as teenagers, we go through this change stage of, oh, that's not cool. Let me do what the other kids are doing because that's the cool thing to do. But I've had this my entire life. I've always wanted, and as a teenager, I never knew how that could happen because I would see, Miss Cleo over the phone, and I said, that's just not me. That's not who I am. But as time progressed, I realized that I could be a professional psychic, and I started meeting the right people. My path really started to move, and now I'm here, and I'm the happiest I've ever been.
Wow, nice, nice. And so how long have you been doing it professionally for?
I've been doing it for 7 years.
7 years? Oh,
But,
really? That?
but I've been reading for 20.
Oh,
I
okay,
used
got
to
it, got it.
say professional because I was actually being paid. I'm actually being paid now for what I do, but I've been reading
Exactly.
my entire life.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. I hear you. And a lot of people, but within the last few years, this has really, really been expanding. Like really uh, expansion in this whole arena as within the last few years. So a lot of people are finding that they can make money out of this, and assumably it's more of a service than making money, most of the time. But they have people have to make a living, and if they can't afford to do this, then why bother? They may as well go back to the regular 9 to 5 or whatever. So so no, I gotta ask. Oh, go ahead.
Just gonna say, if you go into this business to make money, you're in the wrong business. One, yes, you can make money, but this business is about making money. Money flows, money comes. You can learn how to make money, but this business, if you don't love helping people and you don't love what you do, don't get into it because it's not about that. It's about the energy, and if you're only about making money, you will not create the energy of money flow.
Exactly, exactly. No, oh, go ahead.
I was just to say one other thing. People ask me, why do I charge for my gifts? Because there's a lot of people that say, why do you charge for a session? And the reason I charge for a session is because there needs to be an exchange of energy. If I'm constantly giving or doing free readings and giving energy and giving energy and giving energy, I'm going to deplete my energy source. So if there's an exchange of energy where they are vested in it, because that's very important. If a client is not vested in the information that you're giving them, one ear and out the other. They won't care about what you have to say. But if they invest in it, then they're actually putting their energy into hearing what you have to say. So it's a cycle, and it really is a necessary cycle.
Absolutely, I hear you, and you're right. And again, you wouldn't be able to afford to do the readings otherwise. And if you can't afford to do the readings, then all these other people are not going to get a reading, and they're not going to know their future, and they're going to be all screwed up, and then they're going to be wondering why they're having such a hard time at work. So I guess it all works out.
Exactly, definitely, yes.
So now, so I gotta ask, were you taken into ships, or were you abducted, or anything like that?
I've only had a couple experiences with alien life, and my experiences have been with the Palladians. And they are the most wonderful beings I've ever encountered. They look a lot like us. They glow. Their aura is just so visible and just such a beautiful sight to see. I call them the alien angels. um, have had experiences with them. They've given me a lot of information. Um, a lot of it is almost like that. You know how a cassette tape will play really fast, and when you play a cassette tape on fast forward, it goes, it has that noise. That's the kind of information they've given to me, but it comes out in pieces as I need it. So, yeah, I have had experiences with them, but I really, I'm more into the angelic realm. I'm more into that kind of stuff than I am the alien side. But I do appreciate and I do help people who have had alien experiences.
Got it. Got it. So now, can you see if someone's a Pleiadian or not? But just like if they're walking down the street, can you tell they are?
Actually, yes. One of my abilities is to be able to see the origin of a spirit. So I can look at a person and I may not know exactly, like if it's Palladian, I know because I've had experience, but I may not know exactly what their race is, but I can tell you if someone is alien origin, angelic origin, elemental. I can tell those type of things.
Got it. Got it. So I guess and what do you mean by origin? What does that mean?
Spirit comes from somewhere. Our spirit originates in some place, shape, or form. And so, yes, we all come from, from the source, but we have specialties. And some spirits are angelic, some spirits are elemental. They deal with the elements. Some spirits deal with the alien races, and the different because we're not the only ones on this in this universe. And so we pick planets, we pick where we want to be, and some people or some spirits prefer to be in the alien sides of it.
Got it. Got it. So now, I guess. Well. Okay. My question to you right now is, where do you think I'm from? Where do you think I originate from?
Well, you have actually a mixture of two. You definitely do have some starseed energy with you, and I say starseed because that's what I guess the politically correct term now. I do feel that you have. Um, I can't tell the exact race because I haven't encountered them yet. Um, but you do have alien energy, but there's also some elemental stuff in there with you. So it feels to me like your spirit would be although it's has that origin of the alien origin, there is an elemental, an environmental, a dealing with the elements, a dealing with the earth, the spirit, the health of the planets type.
Energy.
Thank you. I lost the words. As soon as I start to tap in, I lose words, which is really
I
funny.
know. I know. No. No. I hear you. I've been associated with being a Minihuni. Have you ever heard of Minihuni?
I have not.
Yeah. Minihuni is the Hawaiian version of the leprechaun.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
Which would be interesting.
And so the other thing I've been associated with is being from Sirius. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Somebody pinpointed the planet at one point, but I don't remember. So anyhow, somewhere out there.
Yes, and,
The
and
truth.
which would make sense. Which would make sense because you have the elemental side, which is the leprechaun side, and then you have the alien side. So yes, that would definitely make sense to me.
Hmm. So anyhow, so in getting to our story about from dark to light, what does all that mean? What are you talking about? What is it that you want to tell us?
Well, in this world, all of us are going through this major shift, and some people are resisting the shift a little more than the others. Um, there's something called enlightenment, and people look at it and say, oh, it's those metaphysical people over there that are seeing the enlightenment, and they're crazy, or they have the idea that everything's. But if you really start to look at people, you start to notice that they are starting to be more and more conscious of their spirit. They're really starting to awaken in a sense. There is more than just here. More to mind.
So what's happening right now is you're cutting out. I think it's because the wireless thing. But so if you just speak a little bit slower, maybe that might be okay. I'm not sure. Go ahead.
Well, what I was saying is that people are really realizing that there is more to their life than just what's happening right there. And a lot of people are realizing that they are not on their path and that they need to move towards their path. And these aren't people that are metaphysical. These are, well, I mean, we're all normal, but these are the quote normal everyday people who aren't into the metaphysical, but they're noticing the differences in their thoughts, in their needs, in their perceptions of what's going on in the world. And even some people are waking up with abilities. One day they don't have them, the next day they do, and they don't know how to handle that. There
Exactly.
There's a documentary called Wake Up that I just saw not too long ago about this guy who never had any abilities, and then all of a sudden one day he started to see spirits and he started to see auras, and he didn't know what to do with all of this information. Those are the type of people that are waking up and are going through the enlightenment. And all of us will at some point in time, and a lot of us are at this time. Um, but yeah, day by day, everybody is going from darkness to light.
Yeah, just like Gail Thackeray, the same thing. I mean, I think she introduced us to each other, right?
She did.
Yeah. And as she was all of a sudden doing her thing, all of a sudden out of the blue, she starts conversing with all these spirits and blah blah blah. And now she's like famous in the industry, in this industry. So that's pretty amazing. So.
Yes.
And
And
so I guess if people are if there's someone that's never because to me I talk to these people all the time, so it's like a normal way of life for me. And if I find somebody that all of a sudden says, oh, I don't you talk to spirits, I mean, they're like weirded out just because we talk to spirits or whatever, you know and they have no clue about any of this, that like I just blows me away. I go, okay, really? There's still people like that? But so um, I guess if somebody is they've not tapped into any of this stuff, and all of a sudden they start hearing spirits and guides and seeing auras and all this stuff. Well, so what do they do? How do they deal with this?
well, the first thing to do is to seek and find somebody that can mentor you or that can help you, because that's the biggest thing. If you deal with this on your own, a lot of people who, for instance, a lot of people who have gifts as a child and as they grow up, the first thing they want to do is medicate. So they will try and drown out their abilities by drinking or drugs or whatever. So they try and figure a way to take their mind off of what's going on. Well, it's the same thing. If you all of a sudden wake up with these abilities and you don't have the support system that you need in order to get through this, a lot of the times people will medicate. They will try and figure out a way to drown out what's going on instead of really finding out what is going on with them.
Like with drugs and alcohol?
Yes, and I have seen it a lot where people say all I want it to do is just to go away, and I'm thinking
Hmm.
you don't want it to go away. You want to embrace it because the more you fight it, the more it will be there. Drugs and alcohol don't take your abilities away.
Exactly.
What they do is they heighten them and they make it more intense. So you might as well deal with it and to deal with it instead of medicating and then having to deal with it later.
Yeah, exactly. I hear you. So, I guess what are the other steps what are other steps that they can take to work with it and develop it and then move on with it?
Truly feel that meditation, I know that everybody says that, but I truly feel that meditation is important. Um, you have to have some sort of source of light. Some people don't believe in God, and some people think that God is energy. Some people can. I mean, whatever your beliefs are, it doesn't matter. Con- um, Connect to that source, whatever your source and your belief is. Um, and connecting to that will actually help you to get through all of the heavy dark times that we go through, all of the doubt that we have, which is the next step actually, is to remove doubt from your mind and
Okay, you're cutting out again. Can you do me a favor and move your computer towards your right? No, your right. More. Okay, yeah. Okay, there. And then now Go ahead and talk to us and see how that goes.
What I was saying was, is the next step is that is to remove doubt. Um, so a lot of people will second hear, second guess what they see, and that's another way of doing it, is to be fearful of it or to doubt it. So if you actually could embrace what it is that you see without walking around telling everybody on the street that what you see, but at least embrace it to yourself and investigate it and try and figure out exactly what's going on, it would help. It helps a lot.
Got it, got it. So, I guess I mean, do people do they live with this for the rest of their life, or if they don't, if they, what I mean, if without becoming a psychic or something else, it's just part of their life for the rest of their life, or what goes on with all this?
Well, usually once you're awakened, you can't turn it off, but you can find ways to shut it down. I have this very I'm very empathic. So when I'm in a public place, I hear 50 million things at the same time, and it actually it drives me crazy. I cannot be in a public place with lots of people for very long. So I have learned how to kind of close it off in public, and it's just a matter of imagining a bubble around you, or just saying it is my intention that my abilities will be in timeout or closed off until I say so. Now you ever go if there's
Okay, okay, okay. Stop, stop. Okay, now try to talk to us again.
And if there's something really important that needs to be said by spirit, or by if there's a message that needs to come through, whether or not you're closed off, it's going to come.
Got it, got it. So now, I guess, well, what is empathic? What does that mean?
Empathic means that you feel the feelings of other people, or the energy, or you're very sensitive to energy of other people, or just what's around you.
Got it, got it. And so, what are the types of gifts that you were talking about?
Well, there's lots of gifts. I mean, many different gifts. The most common that I have seen is people being able to see spirits, which is called mediumship, and they can interact with spirit. Empathic was what we talked about before. Being empathic usually is a gateway. I call it the gateway, because it opens you up to being a medium, or to be able to interact with spirits. And then a lot of time it opens you up to the psychic abilities as well. And there is a difference between being a medium and being a psychic. Being a medium, you interact with spirits, and yet spirits give you information, but you rely on what spirit tells you. Being a psychic, you rely on energy and feelings and visions, and lots of other ways of seeing what's going to be happening, or what has happened. Um, and so everyone has their own way of dealing with that. They have different ways of seeing it.
Yeah, typically, when I work with mediums, I find that they usually have had their ability all their life, and they've been talking to spirits since they were a kid. Whereas the psychics typically don't tap into their abilities until later on in life. That's what I've found so far.
Very true. Very true. And you can have both in a person. I mean, you can have someone who can talk to spirit, and you can have someone who's psychic in the same person. I mean, there are no limits to abilities. What limits the brain is belief system. Those are what limit us.
Okay. So and you were going over some of the gifts. What are some of the other gifts, or is that all of them?
So there's more. Well, without talking about all the clairs, because there's, I don't know how much people know, but there's clairaudience, where you can actually hear, where you're hearing messages. There's clairsentience, where you feel the message, and then there's other other things that we go through. But I think that a lot of people, what they don't realize is there's also abilities to calm. There are some people who are really good at calming people. And that's a very important ability right now, especially with what we're going through in this world, is we need calmers. We need people who put out that calming energy. And if you can learn to harness that, you can learn to send it out in waves throughout the world. And so then there's also people who have ability to read minds, which I think is kind of like a parlor trick. But people do have ability to read minds. There's telekinesis, which is the ability to move things with your mind. Um, there is the ability, it's kind of like psychic to
Okay,
foresee.
stop for a second. I don't know, for some reason okay, but go ahead. I don't know if maybe the computer needs time to catch up, but go ahead.
Well, I was just saying there's also the ability to foresee um, disasters or to foresee things happening. And yes, that's kind of like psychic, but it's actually, I call it, you're able to see physical
Premonitions.
premonitions. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, Another one is that people dream. Some people dream things and they happen, which is kind of like premonitions as well. But they dream and it happens. And so
Yeah.
there's different things, different gifts. I'm naming a few, but there are many, many, many gifts that people can have. And
What are your specialties? What are your gifts?
well, I am actually I do psychic medium. I do angelic communication. I can actually speak to a person's spirit. I can speak to a person's spirit guide. Um, I can do energy reading, so I can look at somebody's energy and tell them what's going on. Um, I am a theta healer, which is the removal of old beliefs and energies that hold us back. But it also, theta healing also is a healing modality where you can actually heal somebody's body from something. But it usually, for me, at least what I've found out, is that every illness that we have in our bodies come from an outside energy source or an energy that we have pulled in to us. And so we need to figure out. I go in and I figure out what causes that, what energy is causing whatever person's illness. 9 times out of 10, it's resentments, regrets, and feelings of rejection.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
Yes, but I do that, and then my biggest thing is I am an activator. So when I talk to somebody, I can activate change in them, and they usually people have to want change because we can't change people who don't want to be changed. But as I talk to somebody, I get their spirit to start to wake up more and start to be more active with the conscious mind. And I have seen a lot of people change. Another ability I have that I don't use quite as often as some people would like is I can speak to if someone has Alzheimer's or someone has dementia or someone is in a coma. I can actually speak to that person's spirit and give the family the messages that they need at that point. And then I can also cross over. So if someone is dying in a coma, I can help them to cross over to the other
And you've done that before?
side. I've actually done that many times now.
All
It's
right.
a thing to do.
Wow, wow. And so, I guess I don't know what else do you do? I guess what are some of the significant changes that people have made because of working with you?
Well, I have a particular, I have lots of clients, but one of my clients, when he came to me several years ago, he was suicidal. He was going through a major divorce. Um, his life before I had met him, or before I had met him, was um, a shady, dark, heavy, very depressing life. and filled with addictions and all of that kind of. And so I've been working with him every month for the past couple of years. And now is he loves, he has a wonderful job. He is creating new ideas, creating new things. The addictions are gone. He is a totally different person. If you meet him now as compared to when we first met him, you would not, even his appearance.
Yeah. Okay. And so what are some of the other stories that would have allowed you to see that you're definitely doing the right thing and in the right direction?
Well, I have we I went to go cross who had
Okay.
cancer.
Okay. Stop for a second. Okay. Now go.
I was to go work with the manager, and he was when there to heal.
Okay. Wait. You're cutting out. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. Time out. Okay. You don't have earbuds or a headset for your computer?
I do. It just amplifies the noise. Um, I
Uh,
can I
I'm
can
not.
wear. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that'll help or not, but let's try that. Because right now you keep cutting out, and I don't know if you have any fans on behind you or not.
I don't have anything on. You know what happens too is my energy shifts. Um, I Skype a lot, and every time I start talking about energy, my
Mm-hmm.
energy will shift electronics.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, so it will cut out or there will be feedback. It's just my energy. Something in me and electronics don't always get along.
So, and that's sounding better now at this point. But go ahead. So I don't know where were we? We were talking about other stories
Oh yes,
concerning change.
I was called to this man who his daughter was taking care of him. He had cancer and he was in a coma. And they had asked me to go and essentially cross him over. I went with a partner of mine, Jerry Yusko, who's also going to be in this on this seminar. But we went, and the first thing that you feel when you walk in was this very deep fear of death. And it wasn't just the daughter's fear; it was his fear. And so we spent hours with him, and his spirit was actually showing us parts of his life and the parts that he was most ashamed of because he wasn't going to allow himself to cross over until he had cleared up all of these fears. And so we spent one by one talking about these fears and the things that had happened. And all of this was telepathic because, I mean, we would speak to him in voice, but he would speak to us in telepathy. And the daughter was there the whole time, and what he would tell us, she would confirm. And so that was very rewarding. And that night, by the time we left, he was peaceful. He was reaching for spirits that were in front of him. So had his eyes closed, but he was actually raising his hands to touch the spirits that were in front of him. And that morning he passed. The next
Wow.
morning he passed. That was very rewarding actually to me because we stopped the suffering and we helped somebody realize death is not a bad thing. Death is just the next step.
Yeah, and that energy that of suffering is, everybody is tapped into that, and so the less that there is, the more that comfortable everybody will feel,
Yes,
all,
yes.
all across the
Um,
board.
another thing that really showed me that I was doing the right thing was a man sat in front of me. I went to a psychic fair, and a man sat in front of me and said, "I have a rifle at home, and when I leave this place, I'm gonna shoot. I'm gonna shoot myself." And at first, I was I mean, I was scared. I was thinking, how can I change this person? How can I make them see that suicide isn't the way? And so what I did was I allowed Creator to say what needed to be said. And so Spirit kind of took over and said what needed to be said. And I don't even remember exactly what was said, but I do know that at the end of it, he'd hugged me and he said, that changed my life. And he calls me every once in a while to give updates and shows me pictures of how happy he is. So something so drastic changed within the hour that we were speaking.
Nice, nice.
Yes.
And there's a lot of people out there. They have no hope. They're down to their last threads, and they're ready to move on. But it's stupid for that, especially committing suicide. Suicide is the most difficult way to go out. The worst way to go out, because then you have to deal with it again. And it's even harder next time around.
Exactly. You know, a lot of people are under the false belief that you commit suicide and you go to hell. You don't go to hell. You actually, when you cross, you go to I call it a mean room. So I don't know that it's a room per se, but it's you go to this place where you're surrounded by love and light, and you stay there until your spirit is whole again. And then you have to deal with all of the other stuff. So you still have to deal with looking at your life, and then you have to go back and you have to do it all over again and figure it out. So it's not an easy way out. It's just more difficult because then you have to do it all over again, like you were saying.
So now you've never had a near-death experience, is that correct?
I've had 4 near-death experiences. Yes.
Really?
I've died twice. And the other 2 were very near misses. Yes.
And how did that happen?
Well, one of them, I was a teenager, and I decided I wanted to be in the women's motocross, the dirt biking, and so I was practicing. I was practicing on my dirt bike, and one day I decided I was going to go out by myself into this hill that was easily 200 feet tall. And everybody jumps this hill. That was the thing that you do, right? And so I was about a mile away from the house, and I decided I'm going to jump this hill by myself, which is not the smartest thing in the world to do, but I was a teenager. And so I full speed on this hill. I'm getting good speed, and there's no fishtailing, and we're just going straight up. And as I get up, as I launch into the air, here's my front tire and here's my back tire. The bike turns, and this is almost, you could almost call it the position of death. I mean, you just know this is going to hurt, because
Ouch.
Once that front tire hits the dirt, the whole bike goes forward, and you essentially are smashed by the bike.
Ouch.
So what happened was the front tire hit, and the back tire cracked my helmet in half.
Ouch.
So, and as I was laying on the ground, the bike turned around, ran me over, and then fell down. And
wow.
I instantly went to a lit room, and at the end of this room was a lady, and I felt it was the most comforting, loving feeling I'd ever felt in my life. I felt completely whole. I felt every part of me was loved and cared for, and it was just the most beautiful feeling I'd ever felt in my life. And as I'm walking towards this lady, she puts her hand out, and she tells me, it's not your time, you have to go back. And I kind of looked at her in question, but at that moment, she sent me back. And I come back into my body, which is full of pain. I'm surrounded by these little kids. I don't know where these kids came from. And they're looking over me saying, she's dead, she's dead. And when I opened my eyes, they ran. They didn't even try and help me, they ran. And so then I had to pick myself up, and I had ripped all of the muscles in my hands. So
Ouch.
I had no muscle control at all. And I don't know if you know about dirt bikes, but you need both hands to shift and to make the bike work. But by
Mm-hmm.
some short miracle, I picked up the bike, started the bike, and got it home. And as soon as I walked into my mom's room, I collapsed on the floor, and that was it for me. And
Wow.
then, yeah, then I was in the hospital, and I mean, it was amazing, but I woke up angry. I woke up, I wanted so badly to stay where I was at, you know?
But
Yes.
you know, and did I'm assuming that you figured out you don't have to die to feel all that, right?
Yes, well, now I have figured that out, but it's taken
Okay,
quite a few
fine,
years.
whatever. So what was the other time that happened to you?
I love to swim. I love to swim in the ocean. I used to, and I would swim out to the buoys. And all of a sudden, this wave, huge wave, came out of nowhere, and I got sucked under. And the more I fought to come up, the more I got sucked under. And I started to lose my air. And I heard a voice say, "If you stop struggling, we'll help you." And I passed out, and I woke up on the beach, a little, probably about a block away from where my mother was at. And the crazy thing is that no one missed me. No one knew I was gone. But I had completely, I mean, I drowned. I was
Wow.
all the way at the buoys and I drowned. And somehow someone had taken me, and there was no people around me. So this is spiritual intervention. But I was taken to the beach and dropped off where no one was around so that I could live.
Wow. So
Yes.
you don't think you were taken in the ship then?
No, I don't think so. As a matter of fact, the craziest thing is that, and I believe past, present, and future all happen at the same time. They exist all on the same level.
Real?
Um, yeah, and the other day, well, I always say the other day, it's probably several months ago. I was with somebody and we fell asleep, and when I woke up, he tells me, he said, "Oh my God, I had a dream." And I said, "Well, tell me what your dream was." And he said, "I was watching a girl that looked a lot like you drown." And he said she was all the way out by the buoy, and this big, huge wave came and sucked her under. And I was like, "Okay." And then he said, "And I saw her drowned." And in that moment, I realized past, present, and future were coming together. So he was watching me drown, but I actually think spiritually he probably helped me, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
So it was all of this. I mean, I know that I was definitely angelically helped, but it was nice to see all of that come together so many years later, because I think I was probably 10 when that happened.
Oh wow. Wow. Wow.
Yes.
So now what you said you have had alien contact, and what was that like for you? What was going on there?
Well, I've had a couple. They've all come in dreams. I've only actually seen like an image of alien probably twice in my life. But the mostly it's dreams. The craziest thing is that now I know when they're trying to contact me, because I always know when they're trying to figure something out because I'm asleep in my dream. So I'm dreaming and I'm asleep. And when I know that I'm sleeping, I say, "Uh-oh, okay, I need to wake up because I need to figure out what's going on." And the last time that happened, because I'm very in touch with who I am spiritually, I know who I am spiritually. And the last time that happened, I was asleep in my dream and I said, "Oh, no, 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 I need to wake up." So I woke myself up in the dream and I started shooting light. Like I really, like almost like light beams. I was shooting light and the whole facade fell. And there were many, many different types of alien beings around me. Tall ones, short ones. I mean, they were all working. They weren't doing anything to me. They were just all working. And I was very agitated because they kept trying to almost like push me into rooms or they were trying to calm me down, but it wasn't happening because I was like, "Stop touching me," and I'm shooting light. And this one little man, he was the shortest little thing I'd ever seen. He's tapping on my leg, and so I looked down at him, and he said, please stop shooting light at everybody. He says, you you are putting everybody in danger, and I need you to calm down. And so that was the last time that they have contacted me. But for the most part, it's in dreams, and I prefer it that way. Actually, I would prefer if they have something to say to me, they can send it to me telepathically, and then just leave me alone.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't had too much contact. Do you ever see the ships at all when at night? Do you ever go outside and look in the sky and see ships at all?
No, I actually went with Jerry Usko one time to a place, and we were able to see a light, a very bright light that came close to us, and I got a picture of it. It came close to us, and there was nothing else in the sky, just this bright light, and then it just disappeared. But that's the only experience I've ever had with UFOs.
Got it, got it. So let me see. We got about 15 minutes, 14 minutes left. Anything else that you haven't talked about that you want to put out there that you haven't mentioned yet?
Yes, one of the biggest things that I've noticed with people who come to me and are going through this awakening process is they have a lot of old programming. Everything we hear in our life, we create a program for it. So if we're told, the craziest one is money doesn't grow on trees, and money is limited, and those type of programs stay in our brains, and they stay there until we remove the energy. And so I always encourage people to find somebody, if they want to come to me, they can, but to find somebody that can really remove those programs and put in the programs that they want. And I call them programs. It's kind of a crude word for it, but what it really means is if you want an energy of money flowing to you, then you remove the programs that create the dam, which stop the flow. If you want to find love, then you remove the programs that say love hurts, or remove the programs that say I'll never find love and I'm not worthy of love. Those are very, very important, because if we have these beliefs and ideas in our mind, they stay there until we decide to remove them, and they actually affect our lives completely. And yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say, the other thing is that people really need to pay attention to their words. Words are energy, and they're actually part of manifestation. So our words, thoughts, and actions create our reality. And so if we have negative words, thoughts, and actions, we will create a negative reality. But if we have positive words, thoughts, and actions, we actually create a positive energy. But they all have to align in order to manifest. So if you want something to manifest, you need to think about it, talk about it, and believe it. And they all need to align. I always liken it to going to a restaurant. You go to a restaurant and you order your food. You know it's going to come. You have faith that it's going to come, and you don't keep asking the waitress every 5 seconds when it's coming, because you know it's going to come. You're not really sure how it's going to be prepared, but you know that you know the basics. Well, it's a lot like that with manifestation. You put that order out to the universe of what you want, how you want it, and all of that, and then you let it go, because the universe will provide it for you as long as you don't keep pulling it back and trying to control it yourself. So those are my points that I really wanted people to know about.
So let's try that. Are you game to do that right now?
Oh, absolutely. I love manifesting.
Okay. Okay, good. Because I put a lot of time and effort to putting together this webinar series. So what I want to do is increase the traffic flow to have hundreds of people coming through here. So can you do that?
Yes. So what you'll do is you will say, Creator, it is commanded that, and then say whatever it is that you want to happen. So in your case, you want to increase the traffic flow. So you would say, Creator has commanded that the traffic flow increase to this GPS seminar. Be specific on time and date. So during the week of, and then what are the dates? 9th to the
15th.
15th.
Yeah.
That it will increase, and then you say in the highest and best good, because you always want it to be in the highest and best good. And then you say, thank you, it is done, it is done, it is done. and then you'll feel this energy shift. Like I can already feel an energy shift happen. So that's the kind of manifesting that you do. And then you let it go. And if it doesn't happen, because some people will say, okay, well, it didn't happen, then there's a reason. There's a
Okay.
reason it doesn't happen. But I do feel like more word getting out. I feel like the videos of this will actually start to open people's minds, and people will come back for the live ones the next time you do it.
Got it. Got it. So okay. So go ahead and program that. I'm giving you permission.
Okay. Okay. So one of the things that you do when you do this kind of stuff, you have to ask background questions. So the question for you is, what is your view on success?
Okay, that's a good point. Right now, in terms of this particular webinar series, is to have more than 500 people show up for this thing.
Right. But to you personally, what do you when you think about success? What do you
Right. Well,
think about?
that's right now. That's what I'm saying. That my version of success for this particular webinar is to have more than 500 people view this thing throughout the week, by the end of the week.
Right. But what I'm saying is that it's actually bigger than that. It's bigger than just this piece. It's the
Oh, okay. You're
all-encompassing
talking about
energy.
more a long-term viewpoint.
Yes.
Well,
It's
no,
lifelong viewpoint of success.
the more longer version, the bigger version, the bigger vision is to do the live version in October in Scottsdale, which you're going to be at, but that's besides the point. And then and have that successfully produced, where you know, people are at least there's at least a reasonable profit from that, not just not breaking even. And then the other part of the equation is so that again, I've been already telling you, you guys, that I'm planning on doing classes, regular classes on this system, where people come in and do classes, workshops, presentations, and whatever else, and then eventually will become a school, a formal school, a paranormal school. So that's the longer term version, and then even the bigger vision of this is to do a major retreat resort where people can attend these, go to these things, and learn how to just tap into their higher self, become awakened, and just live in that environment where they're supported into living their higher self rather than just living their personality self. And so then again, the bigger version of that is so that we can it's a training ground. It'll be a training ground so people can start living in space further down the road.
So then we put to the universe, so Creator's commanded that all that you envision will come to pass in the highest and best good, in the best divine timing. And then, because you know, it's always has to be the best divine timing, because if you create it too soon, yeah. And then then we say thank you, it is done, it is done, it is done, and then we let it go.
Okay, good.
But just to let you know, sometimes we have views of success that we have inherited from our parents, we've inherited from background, people, we've inherited from society. And so when you're creating success, one of the things that you want to look at is, are my programs of success in alignment with what I want? And so when I ask, what are your views of success? A lot of people will say, oh, well, you know, I don't, for some reason, this happens, and you know, they always try and cut it short. And so when you align the energy, remember, thoughts, words, and actions create the reality. So when you align the energy properly, all of it can flow properly. It's almost like,
well, yeah. Well, you didn't give me a time frame. You just said success, and to me, the time frame that I thought you were talking about was just this week, and that's it.
Well, that's okay though. I mean, that's actually a good one. You wanted to manifest, and that's what we're manifesting.
Yeah, of course, of course. So no, I hear, and I call them programs as well. To me, everything's like a computer, and you know, people, you can call them prayers, you can call them affirmations, you can call them mantras, you can call them mudras. I mean, all kinds of stuff. I just call them programs. And so, and you're right. You put in a certain input, and you get a certain output. And if you change any of that, then you'll get a different output. So
Yes.
it has to be, and I've worked with enough of them so that I know they work. In fact, I did one. Yesterday was Monday, right? I think on
Yes.
Sunday with this guy. He's been having a difficult time and just going through all kinds of stuff. And I said, Tom, I tell you what, let me do some programs with you and to shift your patterns and cycles and replace them with better ones that serve you. And then let me do a program that integrates you with other aspects of yourself that are much better at doing things than you are now. Are you okay with that? He goes, no, I tried this, blah, blah, blah. I tried that, blah, 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 blah. Tom, all I need, it doesn't take anything. Just let me have your permission. That's all I need, and I'll do the rest. He goes, okay, sure. I said, okay, fine. I'm getting ready to eat dinner, and somewhere in the next few minutes, I'll do the program, and then we'll let it go. And you can go back to your shopping, and then I'll just talk to you later. He goes, okay. But I did the programs. And immediately, I know he felt something because I know something shifted because I could hear him laughing. He goes, I don't know what he did, but I think he did something. so I knew he felt a shift for sure. But I haven't talked to him yet. But I'm sure sometime and he'll talk to me and let me know.
And when we put in programs, we need to remember it's like a muscle. We need to work it. So
Exactly.
we've worked this belief system or this program for years and years and years. So when you remove it and put in a new one, you need to work it. You need to exercise it and believe it and put it out there and really do the work too, because it's not a magical fix. It's an energy change, and you control the energy.
Well, one of the best programs that anybody can do. If they don't ever work with me or you or anybody else, and they want to just do it on their own, the best program they can do is, number one, be productive. No matter who you are, what you're doing, just be productive. It doesn't matter what you're doing, just be productive. Just do something that's productive, and be creative. As long as you're being creative and being productive, I guarantee you'll be in the right direction no matter what. So you don't have to talk to anybody. You don't have to talk to anybody. And as long as you're doing that, you're in the right direction for the most part. So anyhow, we got 3 minutes. Anything else that you want to? Now, if people want to get a hold of you, how do they do that? Where do they go to? I forgot. I think I was going to put your website on the chat room, but I think I forgot. But go ahead. What is your website? Or you can do it if you want.
Yeah, my website is shannonleischner.com. So ShannonLeischner.com. And then I have Facebook also, where I advertise a lot of my events. It's Shannon Leischner as well. And then I have an email address, which is also shannonleischner@yahoo.com. So I've made it very simple for people to get a hold of me. The only hard part, or actually can't spell delete, the only challenge is to spell my name correctly. So it's Leischner. But other than that, you can find me just about anywhere. And if you Google me, you'll get to see all of the things that I've done. And that's always fun to Google people.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to thank you very much, Shannon, for being here. And if anything else, people can catch you on the Golden Age Psychic Show. You've been on the Golden Age Psychic Show. Again, I'm an internet radio show host. We do a variety of shows throughout the month. One of them is a psychic show where I have 3 or 4 people doing readings for people, one person at a time. So you get to literally get a reading from all the people on the panel, and get an earful of what's going on with you. And if that doesn't help you, then I don't know what will. But anyhow, if anything else, and you won't be able to make it because you're going out of town. Excuse me, whatever. But you'll be playing somewhere else. But next month we'll bring you back in and go from there.
Next month, perfect.
Awesome. Well, thank you, and we'll talk to you next time. Have a safe trip wherever you're going, and everyone else, thank you for being here. Have a God Goddess week. Be the love that you are, always have been, and always will be. Aloha.
Aloha.